fun. All right. We are going to get started, and I'm recording this. So welcome to Thriving and Maximizing Your Health. This presentation is presented by Trudy and myself. Welcome and meet the coaches. Trudy, you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Well, hi, Lee and Gail, and anyone else that may have joined. My name is Trudy, and I am a certified nutrition, fitness, and health coach. I would like to say wellness coach. I was obese in 1986, and that's how I met Colleen. We both were working for, but not working for, but a part of a company called Weight Watchers, and they helped me to lose over 50 pounds with them. And then later on, I decided to work for them, and Colleen was my mentor. And my health and wellness journey just flourished from there as far as getting some certifications and things so that I can actually create my own fitness business, which is called Synergy Fitness. My main, I'm all about fitness for all, but one of the things that I'm notorious for is preventive care. How can we actually prevent that from happening? And if it does happen, how can we actually bring it back to balance and live a thriving life?
Well, thanks, Trudy. That's a wealth of information. And my name is Colleen McCarter, and I have a degree in nutrition and dietetics from the University of Akron, and I founded Sustain Well, Eat Well, Live Well, Sustain Well. Similar to Trudy, I feel we need to have sustainable wellness, not just a diet. And I did meet Trudy in our Weight Watcher days, and we both have kind of some similar founding principles, and we love to collaborate and help educate men and women on how to live a thriving life for way into the future, not just a diet, because the diets have DIE, we're going to die. So we're so blessed to have, Trudy in my life to share this mission with everybody to really fight obesity and disease for the long term. So let's get ourselves started on tonight's topic. We're going to be maximizing your health. And we're going to be talking about, just really one key component. Last week, we kind of talked about all three, kind of gave everybody an overview of well-being, nutrition, and fitness. And if you'd like that event that we had last Tuesday, we'd be more than happy to share it. We did record that. But tonight, we're just going to talking about more well-being and what does that look like. So we're going to dive into that right at this particular time. So well-being starts with self-care. So Trudy, why don't you kind of lead us with what it is and your rendition of self-care for us tonight?
Yeah. So when we think about well-being, it actually includes the things that we're going to talk about tonight. And to just make it simple, well-being is the state of being comfortable, healthy, and happy and satisfied with who you are in your life. And that is the homeostasis part of health and wellness is the well-being, the nutrition, the fitness, bringing it all together. So when we think about well-being, the first thing that comes in mind is self-care to me. Because when we think about women, and I don't know how everyone was raised, but I was raised by a group of women where you were always on the back burner. You took care of the family, your husband, the kids, everybody ate first, and you did everything last. And to actually think about self was actually an act of being called selfish. So later on in my years of maturing, I realized that that was something that was missing from my life, and I needed that self care. So self care is an act of taking care of self. And it may sound selfish, but it's not. When we think about when we're flying on the airplane, it always says to put your mask on first. And then you tend to the elderly or your kids, who's ever with you. So, right there, if you're not well, then no one's going to be well. Self care looks different to everybody. It really depends on you, what you like, what brings you joy, what brings you comforts. So when I think about self-care for myself, the first thing I think about is fitness. Exercising, that's an act of self-care for me. I get up while my family's still sleeping. Well, now I'm an empty nester, so I don't have a child at home, but I would get up while my family was sleeping so that I can have that time to myself with no interruptions, no cell phones, anything like that. So other acts of self-care may be for someone else. You think about journaling. or a manicure, a pedicure, a massage, a bubble bath. It may be taking a walk, reading a book, listening to calming music. So self-care can look different to everyone based on what it is that brings you joy, contentment, and peace.
I like how you said that, Trudy, whatever brings you contentment and peace, and it's not selfish. So really, that's kind of in the next 2 weeks left in the new year. We want each and every one of you to really look at, how are you managing self and really take some key takeaways, tonight. So moving along, we're going to be talking about stress, and Trudy has a great definition and talking about stress. So share with us stress there, Miss Trudy.
Yeah, stress is something that takes you out of your happy place. We all have a happy place, we have a peaceful place, a contentment place, and stress is something that comes in and take us out of that place. Stress can cause so much damage to our body. It can cause us to actually overeat because we're eating for reasons of stress. It can actually cause us not to sleep at night, so we have insomnia. Agitation. Is endless what stress can do to our body. And once again, when I talk about preventive care, that's what I'm notorious for. I know Colleen and I work so well together because we come in from different standpoints, but we work very well together. Like I will actually talk about how to de-stress. What are some things that you can actually do to de-stress? Where Colleen would say, well, let's talk about the stressors in your life. What are they? What's causing it? So we work so synergistically together. So when I think about ways to manage stress, the first thing is to eat nutrient dense foods. We have no idea, or maybe we do, how the foods that we eat can impact our bodies and even put our body in a stressful or inflamed situation. So definitely eating nutrient dense foods. And of course, we know that's like our complex carbs, our lean proteins, and our fruits and veggies, and making sure that we're getting a balance of minerals and nutrients. I always start with food first before I move on to other things. And when we talk about stress, we know that exercise is notorious for de-stressing us. It's like take your frustration out on that jumping jack or that punching bag, just let it all out, or go for a nice run or a walk, or do a HIIT training or a cycle class, whatever it is that you like to do. And when we think about another aspect of de-stressing, being mindful of what's going around, what's going on, what's around you, meditation, making sure that you take some quiet time for yourself away from the madness, even if you have to lock yourself in a closet, just get away from the madness. Making sure that we're getting quality of sleep, because if we're not getting quality of sleep, that can definitely cause stress in our life. Once again, it goes back to self-care, making sure that you're doing something for you, because we're less likely to feel stressed if we're taking care of ourselves. There are some relaxing techniques that you can actually perform. Calming music helps. There's an app that's called Calm that I love to listen to. Even on YouTube, there's an app that takes you on a guided image, yeah, takes you on a guided image walk where you're actually de-stressing and you're listening to calming music. There's also essential oils. One of my favorite is lavender. It's good for calming you down, inhaling that essential oils in, and limiting negative energy around you. I have no problem, and I really help people to cut the negative people out of your life. There's nothing wrong with unfriending someone on Facebook, unfollowing someone on social media, whatever's causing the stress in your life, to definitely try to eliminate it. And if we have to go the route of taking something, ashwagandha is my favorite herb. It's an adaptogen, and it adapts to your body and gives your body what it needs. Like stress can actually tire you out. It can actually drain you where you have no energy. So the ashwagandha will actually go into your system, adapt, and give you that energy and that lift that you need. We're also helping you to just woosah. So that's my favorite adaptogen. And then also would recommend B vitamins. B vitamins are excellent for stress. So taking a B complex can actually help your body deal with stress. That's something that I take daily, and I make sure that I have my husband on it. And he's just been on it for about a month. And it's amazing how he's able to handle the stress that he has being a manager in his department at work. So those are some takeaways, but actually when we're having a consultation with someone, we can actually go in and zero in on what specifically you may need for your body.
And that's so important what Trudy mentions, stress is a feeling of an emotion or physical tension or response to an event. For instance, maybe a death in the family or a loss of a job. Sometimes we use the word I am stressed as an excuse to not do certain things that we're supposed to do. So we really need to identify, is this a true tension and a feeling that's causing us overwhelm and causing us to eat or just not sleep? And then once we identify the stress, then use de-stressors, and that's where a coach or someone can guide you through, and to be mindful of, is this true stress and do you need to manage it, or is it just something that we're saying, oh, I'm stressed? Because words have meaning, and a lot of times we just say things like, oh, I'm stressed, the kids are stressing me out. And really it's like, if you manage what the kids are doing or the dog, you can actually manage whatever's going on in your life. So that's why we wanted to talk about stress tonight as one of the self-care, items. So it's so important to really identify, are these true stressors? Now, moving on, we wanted to talk about something that Trudy mentioned, is mindfulness, being aware. And Trudy has the best definition I've ever thought of for mindfulness. So Trudy, share your definition so the ladies can really understand and be more mindful in this presentation.
Oh my gosh, if I could only remember exactly what I said, but I'll share a brief story. I went to my doctor and I was stressed out, just overload with work and teaching fitness classes and everything. And she was like, well, how are you managing your stress? And I shared with my doctor ways that I was managing my stress. And she was like, that's wonderful, but have you ever practiced mindfulness? And I was like, well, yes and no. So mindfulness is actually living in that moment, not thinking about tomorrow, not thinking about yesterday, but living in that moment. It doesn't mean that we can't plan ahead, because we do want to plan ahead, but not to think about, not to give too much thought to that, but living in this moment, focusing on what's really going on in this moment. And I'm not a doctor, just a health coach, but a lot of my clients have actually came off of medications through practicing mindfulness, because it actually helps them to live in that moment and not be attacked with anxiety. So focusing on what's here and what's now, looking out the window, seeing the beauty of the earth, what's out there, what we have, what's offered to us. And that's the best way to practice mindfulness. But it's getting by yourself, away from the noise, away from everyone, and just in your element, and just focusing on you, some breathing techniques, and just being aware of what's going on around you.
And I really like, Trudy's definition, being in the moment, because as women, even in conversations with our kids or spouses or work, are we really in that conversation and in the moment, really listening and engaging? Or especially this time being the end of the year, and with the pandemic, is your brain racing ahead so fast to think about, what do I have to do next? And what do I have to do after that? And where do I have to go after that? When you're not living in that joy. And especially when it comes to, mindfulness of food, what I always try to share with people is, okay, you know, a lot of my clients will say, I feel like I want this. And I've really just, been more thoughtful of this, and True, you can expound on this thought, because I would kind of love your opinion on this. Is, a lot of people say, I feel like a donut today, or I'm feeling like some ice cream. It's like, really, do I really feel like it? Or is it more of that, more of an emotion of the donut is an emotional trigger for someone that maybe passed away, because we really shouldn't be feeding the feeling. We should be identifying the feeling and be mindful of that and say, is this moment or in this donut situation, I just use that because my dad used to buy donuts on Sunday from Jack's down in East Cleveland, and they were warm and they were good. And, whenever he's not around, I seem to want a donut, because he's been gone for about 11 years now. But I have to be mindful of what that response is so I don't get caught up in just overindulging on the donut and the feeling of that. So Trudy, do you want to expand on that? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I totally agree because when we're mindful, it can actually help us to make wise choices when it comes to eating or things that trigger us. So, yeah, mindfulness in every area of our life. And when it comes to things like that you just shared, Colleen, when I think about mindfulness when it comes to eating, or maybe that particular food gave me comfort because it was something that Colleen's dad brought and she's missing him. So that donut is going to kind of connect her with her dad, but maybe that's not really what she needs right now. As an example, I always make sure that and I'm not perfect, but I plan my treats. I don't call them a cheat, but I plan my treats. I know that every Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to have a vegan donut from Whole Foods because I'm a vegan and they make vegan snacks. So outside of that realm of me having that snack, I have a controlled environment at home that helps me to make mindful choices. Now, everyone may not be like this because like I said, I'm an empty nester and it's just my husband and his snacks do not tempt me. So that makes my life a little easier, but it helps me to be mindful of even what I'm eating and how I'm eating. Because when I do allow myself that treat, I have to actually get in my car and drive 20 minutes to Whole Foods to get that donut. And I bring it home and I eat it like it's my last supper. I
Right.
mean, slow, and I'm very mindful of every bite that I take of my treat that I'm eating. So
And,
that
and
works for me, but ultimately, our job, Colleen and I, is to help everyone to find their fit.
and that's one of the reasons we put mindfulness in tonight, because we have 2 weeks left in the year, and we really should be kind of mindful and hopefully take away that, the next 2 weeks, think about this, think about where you're at in your emotions, maybe plan what you're going to have for your Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or Kwanzaa, or Hanukkah, or whatever your treat is, and maybe even moving into the new year. It might be a little different, but I like how Trudy said mindfulness is that planned, thought out indulgence. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And then you can handle it. And it's not, I feel. We're not always compulsive for, I'm feeling this sort of way, so let me just drive through McDonald's. Any other thoughts, Trudy? I mean, on this topic, we could go on and on for mindfulness, but I just want you ladies to really hopefully get, a handle on how important it is when it comes to your overall health and well-being.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That mindfulness can definitely help us to make wise decisions, in every area of our life because we're so connected to ourselves by being mindful that it can really impact our decisions.
Right. So we'll move on to another favorite one is sleep. We definitely need to get a good quality of sleep, at least 6 to 8 hours of, restful, energetic, sleep. And Trudy has some great, great ideas on sleep that we all need to listen to tonight. So take it away, Trudy, on your sleep routine or what you call it, because I really enjoy how you talk about it.
Oh, thank you, Colleen. So sleep, guys, and I could really relate to this topic. I'm 56, and as I head into the menopause area of a mature woman, sleep sometimes is something that's hard to actually find and something hard to get. So I started researching more on sleep from a holistic point of view and realized that sleep is actually a ceremony. It's something that doesn't happen when I walk into my bedroom. It's something that I have to create. And it starts from the time that I wake up in the morning. It starts with the choices that I'm eating, like what's going to zap my energy, what's going to boost my energy, what foods are going to produce sleep as I get closer to bedtime. And there are certain foods that actually have tryptophan in it that has been clinically studied to actually help you to sleep. So sleep is actually a ceremony, a routine that you create, and it's not perfect, but we can actually get there because, like we said, it's a routine. So it starts with limiting what you're watching on television as you get closer to bedtime. Because we know that certain things can stimulate our emotions. Like I know if I watch a movie with my husband, he loves movies where gangsters are killing each other. And if I watch that late at night with my hubby, then my mind is wired. He's fast asleep, but my mind is like, wow, he really killed him, or blah, blah, blah. So that's not good for me. I have to do that like a certain night of the week when I, can change my sleep routine. So think about disengaging from social media. Those blue lights, they're going to zap your melatonin. Try not to watch TV in the bedroom, which it may be hard for some, like my hubby is notorious for that. So the TV is in our bedroom. But when the lights are out and that light is on, it can zap your melatonin, which is going to make sleep hard to find. So some tips that I have is soft lights, spritz some lavender in the air, spray your sheets with some lavender. If you have a diffuser, put some lavender in your diffuser. That can definitely calm you down and help you to unwind. Soft music, some meditation music. I don't know if anyone's heard of, and you guys probably have heard of, binaural beats. Those are my favorite things. When I was struggling with sleep, I started listening to binaural beats. I download some sounds on my iPhone, and it actually stops your, not stop, but it slows down your brain waves and help you to unwind and stop overthinking so that you can actually fall asleep. Um, so you can either do that or you can download a Calm app. There's also maybe magnesium. You can take a magnesium supplement. It's notorious for helping with sleep. Or you can actually put some cacao and some warm milk, cacao powder and warm milk, because milk has tryptophan in it as well. So those are some things to help you to unwind. There's golden milk, turmeric. It's a base of a turmeric that can definitely help you to unwind. There's some calming teas that you can also take. Yogi has a wonderful bedtime tea that has chamomile in it. So if all else fails, if someone has tried all the different techniques and they're still having a hard time sleeping, a company that I love called Garden of Life, they actually have a sleep spray. I never recommend melatonin, although a lot of people take it. Melatonin can be habit forming. And I always tell my clients, I don't really want you on something that's habit forming. So when I think about the sleep spray that Garden of Life has, it has lemon balm, it has L-theanine, it has chamomile in it, it has valerian root. Those are all natural herbs that work inside of your body as an adaptogen that actually helps your body to sleep too. So if all else, that's also an option. CBD, I know you guys heard of CBD. A lot of companies make CBD that has a sleep formula, which has the chamomile and the lemon balm in it. Those are some things that you can additionally take. But those are some things that I recommend for my clients, or and things that I have actually used that actually help me to get not only a good night's sleep, but quality of sleep as well.
I just love how Trudy talks about, making it a ritual. Sometimes we don't think about that, the whole process. So a lot of times you just hear, oh, you should get so many hours, and people will say, well, how am I going to do that when I got this, and this, or I got a baby, or things like that. But when you think of it ritualistically, another thing maybe over the next, 2 weeks moving into 2021, thinking about, what are some of the takeaways that you're going to take away from this, thriving to the end of the year, some small habits. So thanks, Trudy, for that. That's awesome there. So living a thriving life, that's what we want you to walk away with. So, what does that look like? Trudy, share with us, living that thriving life, your rendition, and then I'll share you mine.
Yeah, so a thriving life to me, if you were to draw a square and you think about your, well, I never want to say this because I never know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an adjective, and I don't want to use the word spiritual, but your faith, whatever your higher power is. So you draw a square, you have your higher power, you have your family, you have your job or whatever it is that you do for a living, and then you have that self-care, what makes you happy, doing things that make you happy. So when you draw that square and you put that square together, that's living a thriving life. And our job as health coaches is to help our clients to find that balance to actually help you to live that thriving life. So you think about your overall quality of life. So you have your nutrition, you have your emotions, you have your health, you have your family and your higher power. All of that coming together can help you to live that thriving life and whatever that looks like for you.
And that's exactly one of the reasons why Trudy and I are presenting this particular program, this class, I guess you could call it, for the next several Tuesdays. I think this is our second one. We have two more because we want everyone to live a thriving life, not just a life of diet mentality. We've been on that roller coaster, both Trudy and I, each having lost, over 50 pounds, individually, and then helping, other people. And what's the missing link, and people don't understand, is that balance, that thriving life, that square that Trudy talked about. So we are so glad you joined us for this presentation. Next week, stay tuned and bring on some more friends and family. We're going to talk about the nutrition component, the macro, the micronutrients, and dive deep into what you should be eating, and doing some planning. We're breaking it down a little bit deeper for you all. So if you really enjoy this and you want to get in touch with Trudy at Synergy Fitness, she's at www.synergyfitness.com, and Instagram Synergy bottom slash or whatever that thing is, lower slash, is that Trudy? Fitness. And then you can reach me at www.sustainawell.com. I have a Facebook page, Sustainawell, and then on Instagram as well. So any questions before we close it out? I know I like to leave a little bit of time left for questions.
And also, Colleen, any additions? Like I know that Lee is in health and wellness, and I know Gail is on the call. I don't know who else is on the Zoom. I know that Gail is going to school for nutrition and different things like that. So if they have any questions, or if there's something that they want to share or throw
Oh,
out
for sure.
based on what we actually presented. Yes, ladies, if you want, we would love to hear from you.
Well, I use a bedroom spray. I don't know who's the brand, but I found it at Target and it works really good. I use it for my daughter as well.
Nice.
And what is it, Lee? What is it that you use?
Let me see real quick. I
Okay.
keep it right here in my dresser.
Yeah, I love getting tips and tidbits from everybody, because these are things that I can inquire about and share, and maybe it makes
sure.
I want to use.
So
I didn't know they had a spray. I'm gonna have to get that. I have a terrible time sleeping.
Do you?
Terrible.
So
Yeah.
so it looks like this, and the brand is YUNI.
YUNI? Okay.
Okay.
It's called Calming Aromatherapy Mist.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm not sure if it's made for the bedroom, but
Hey,
it works.
if it
But I
works for
use it.
you.
It says refreshes mind and body. I don't think it really says, well, I guess there's directions, but anyways, I like to do yoga, right?
Uh-huh.
So when I used to go to yoga in the studio, because now COVID, we don't have yoga in the studio, but she would always spray something and it would smell so good and it would just make me, I mean, just the smell of it would relax me.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, so I have this and sometimes it's hard to find, so you have to get it online.
Okay.
But I spray the room, like my daughter, she's 10 years old. Sometimes she sprays the room.
Nice.
Like we make bedtime a routine, you know?
Yeah.
And like you said too about stimulating, like sometimes I let her watch TV, but I tell her, and she knows, like she can't watch anything overstimulating.
Right.
And sometimes I just put like the Polar Express on. I
Okay.
don't know if you guys know that movie, but it's probably it's a cute movie, but it's probably one of the most boring movies ever. But you know, I try to train her that we just have to, you know, we can't, an hour before bedtime, around that time, we just can't be watching, you know, shows that are wild and crazy or you know, that are going to stimulate us. So so that's what we do, like something calming on TV. And I can go to sleep without the TV, but she's kind of like the TV person, like you were saying your hubby is.
Yeah.
And then we use the spray. But sometimes I do get insomnia a lot too. So I was gonna try, you said that beets, I wrote it down, but you said banana beets?
Yeah, so it's B-I.
Can you
Uh-huh.
can you spell that, Trudy?
Yes, it's B-I-N-A-U-R-A-L.
Uh-huh.
I think that's it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and they have different
Okay.
beats. You can pick which one that you want. There's some that are thunderstorms. There are some that's just like some very calming music, but it just
Mhm.
really shuts my brain waves down or slow them
Mhm.
down. But yeah, binaural beats. The N-
Banana, okay.
Yeah.
And okay. Oh, Trudy, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I do love Whole Foods vegan treats. Have you tried their muffins? Their muffins, the blueberry muffins are to die for.
Yes, they are. Yes.
So well, if that's your way of treating yourself, so what do you do during the week if you get that craving?
Oh yeah. So depending on what craving hits me during the week, with me being vegan and I have food allergies, there's something that are called Made Good bars.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you
those are good.
Yeah, you can get them from Highness Whole Food. Target has them, and they actually have fruit and veggies in them. And they have I get the chocolate chip ones, so that
Mhm.
actually helps with my chocolate chip craving if I'm craving chocolate. So I'll do those made
Okay.
bars. They even have a Rice Krispie bar if you wanted a Rice Krispie. It tastes like a Rice Krispie treat. So if you were someone that like, but it's a healthier Rice Krispie. I do a lot of protein smoothies, and I don't want to say a lot. I do one every day because I was one of those girls that love Wendy's Frosties. That was something that I could not have as a part of my my healthy living. So I will make a protein smoothie and I will put bananas in it, and I'll use the real cacao powder. Now, mind you, bananas have tryptophan in it that helps you to sleep, and the cacao powder actually has magnesium. So if I do a chocolate smoothie in the evening, I'm setting myself up for a good night's sleep because the protein is going to keep me satiated. I have the bananas that have tryptophan. And I know a lot of people say cut off your sugar in the evening. I'm just using maybe 3 pieces of a
Right.
banana and the milk, flax milk. But those are another one of my sweet treats is a protein smoothie. I'll put cacao powder in it, or I'll take the protein smoothie and I'll use frozen berries in it. Berries are so good for our immune system and they're low glycemic. So when I'm having cravings for sweets, those are some things that I go to.
Well, Trudy, you'll have to remember that one when we
And
do the
what's the name of that
nutrition
bar?
component next week.
Right, yeah. What was that question, Gail?
What was the name of that the candy bar that you said? My
Oh,
Life?
Made Good.
Made good.
Oh, that's good. Oh, I've seen those. Yeah, I've heard of that brand.
They even
Made
have
Good.
strawberry.
All right, so
I don't
Trudy,
think
we
I've
have to bring a
noticed that.
box of Made Good for our show and tell for next week when we talk about nutrition. And I'll
I'll
try
make
to bring some ideas. So, this is a work in progress, girls, what we can add to make this very interactive and fun for you ladies and gentlemen.
So I appreciate the questions and the comments that, that really helps because I learned some things from Lee, I learned some things from Gail, and then, we can help each other.
Mhm.
Like Colleen said, it's
Absolutely.
a work in process and we all need each other. And community is so important to be able to bounce off of each other and
Absolutely.
share our
Yep.
knowledge, help each other during our hard times because everyone needs help. Even as a coach, coaches need coach. I need help. I can't, I'm so busy helping everybody else that I actually need a coach to assist me. So having this community that we have is so good for everyone.
And that reminds me of Trudy, Trudy and I have been each other's coaches, back in the day to help be accountable and help everybody out. Cause you do feel like you're giving so much to everybody that we need to practice that self-care sometimes as well. So, it's nice to be able to share with you all. So we're so thankful that you got on tonight. I hope you can join us next week on our Thriving 2020, talking about more nutrition impact with macro, micronutrients. We have a wealth of knowledge on the right supplements to take. I mean, Trudy's well versed in that. We're just gonna, really take you through the rest of the year and help you continue to thrive. And hopefully you walk away with one step to take, whether it's in the sleep or the self-care or the mindfulness. Tonight, we're just so glad you joined us. So have a great evening, everybody.